Sometimes you wake up and the air around you has weight. It's not physical, not something you can push against, but it's there. A quiet, heavy ache in your chest. The kind that tells you the day has already been decided. It will be gray, it will be hard, and you're just going to have to walk through it. I used to think that feeling was a sign of a bad day. A temporary blip you could shake off with a strong cup of coffee or a change of scenery. Now I think it's a sign of a quiet, internal hollowing out. The kind that makes you feel like you're living underwater, and everyone else is breathing just fine. You see their smiles, their laughter, their ease, and you just wonder what it feels like to not have to work so hard just to stay afloat. Last year, I had a day that was like that, but worse. A day where the quiet ache turned into a quiet terror. I remember lying in bed, the light from the window hitting the wall, and a single thought dropping into my mind like a stone. What if this is it? What if I never feel happy again? It wasn't a question I could answer. It wasn't even a question I could push away. It just stayed there. A silent truth that felt permanent. The next day, I tried to do the things you're supposed to do. The things the internet tells you to do. Go for a walk, get some sunlight, move your body. So I did. I pulled on my shoes and I walked. But I didn't know what I was looking for. A different thought? A sudden magical feeling of joy to prove the old thought wrong? Nothing came. It was just me walking with that quiet terror as a constant humming companion. My mind was a carousel of thoughts, each one promising a solution, but none of them ever stopping long enough for me to grab on. And that's when I realized the problem wasn't the walk. The problem was that I was treating myself like a broken machine, and I was trying to find a lever to pull, a button to press, to fix myself. I was so focused on trying to get back to a version of myself that felt happy and whole that I had completely missed the person I was right then. And I couldn't fix her. Later that week, I found myself in a dusty old bookstore. The kind with the smell of paper and time, where the silence is so thick you can almost touch it. I was just wandering, looking for something to pull me out of my head, looking for something to distract me from myself. And I saw a book of poetry. It was open to a page with one line highlighted. It said, "Even emptiness is a kind of music." And for some reason, that changed everything. I stopped seeing the feeling as an absence, as a void to be filled. I started to see it as a pause, a space, a silence that gives meaning to all the sounds that come after, the loud, chaotic moments, the quiet, gentle ones. I stopped trying to fill the emptiness, and for the first time, I just listened to it. The next morning, the ache was still there, but it felt different. I didn't fight it. Instead of trying to force myself to be productive, I started to do small things differently. I stopped looking for a fix, and I started to look for moments of noticing. I cooked a simple meal, not a perfect one, just a meal. And instead of rushing, I focused on the cold water on my hands, the feel of the knife in my palm, the scent of the garlic as it sizzled. These weren't grand acts of self-care. They were small, almost imperceptible acts of self-nourishment. I sat in a cafe and watched people, not as an escape, but as a small act of connection. I saw a mother tie her child's shoe. I saw two friends laughing loudly over a cup of coffee. I saw a couple holding hands under the table. And for a moment, I wasn't lost in my own head. I was just a part of the world, a silent observer in the symphony of life. I called a friend, not to unload my problems, but just to hear her voice. Just to be reminded that other people exist and that I am still a part of their world. I remembered being a child, sitting in my grandmother's lap. It's a memory that feels warm and safe. A place where I didn't have to earn my worth or pretend to be anything. I was just there, safe, loved, and absolutely present. That feeling, it's the quiet anchor I'm always searching for. I know I can't go back there. I can't be that person again, not really. But I can hold the memory of it. I can use it as a guide to create that feeling of safety for myself now. I started to think that maybe healing isn't about getting back to the person I used to be. It's about letting the person I am now be okay. It's a slow and difficult process, but I realized that feeling stuck isn't a sign of failure. It's a brave and honest part of the journey. You're not a broken person. You're a person in process. A person still trying. A person who hasn't given up even when it feels like everything in you wants to. And if you're listening to this and you're feeling that quiet ache, I want you to know you're not alone. The happiness, the feeling of being alive, it won't come back in a flood. It will come back in small flickers. The warmth of a cup of tea, the unexpected kindness of a stranger, the sound of your own voice laughing, even just for a second. Your job isn't to force those flickers into a flame. Your job is to simply be there when they happen, to notice them, to let them in. You don't have to be perfect to be worthy. You don't have to be happy to be loved. You just have to be here. And believe me, even when you feel like you can't, the simple act of staying is a victory in itself. You're still here. You're still breathing. And that's enough for now. This is Depths. We don't chase trends, we follow meaning.